If you guys have been watching my videos recently, then you know what we have been waiting for, and it looks as though we are getting just that. We have to talk about this, we're going to be addressing it, and this is very exciting, especially with the fact that the FOMC meeting is now just a few days away. This is extremely exciting. Now let's dive on in, let's talk about a few things, because on the daily we are now watching as some altcoins are breaking out. Ondo is now up 10+% today. We are also witnessing additional altcoins making some significant gains, like Arrow up 9.3% on the daily. And there's a few other ones that are sort of outliers during this time. Now, XRP is only up about 1.8% today. HBAR is not doing too much today at all, like 3%. So again, like there's still some shallow gains here, but looking at the weekly, we're still in a very good sea of green. HBAR is up 12.8% on the weekly. We also see Ondo up 21.7%. We love that. XRP only up about 8.8% on the weekly, but still some pretty good gains here. If we're looking at the market right now, Bitcoin back above 115K, Ethereum back above 4,500, and XRP back above $3. On the weekly, XRP outperforming both Bitcoin and Ethereum. A lot of altcoins are up significantly on the weekly in the top 100. Ultimately, what I've been waiting for is just a big break across the board for altcoins. Right now, we're still seeing just some outliers. We're still seeing some liquidity flowing down, but I want to see a complete push in the altcoin market. We're not there yet, but we are getting there. Now, just going over to CoinMarketCap, I actually want to open up two more charts real quick that I didn't have open before, but I want to just go over a few things. So, first off, Bitcoin. So in the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up about almost 4%. We did wick back above 116K earlier today. As you guys can see, that big wick. On the 7-day, we look very good here. We are now creating higher highs, higher lows. On the monthly, we're also doing something very similar. We still have a little bit of work to do here, and I have the chart open. We'll talk about that here in a moment. But just looking at Bitcoin right now on a 1-year time frame, guys, Bitcoin looks very good. It's repeating those same patterns that we saw back in May into June, and also even the extended view of January all the way into April. Bitcoin looks very good here. Beyond that, fear and greed now bouncing back to 50. We love that. And also the market itself, right? Looking at the market back above $4 trillion in terms of the market cap. This has been a very, very good push to the upside on the market cap as well, because we are creating higher lows and higher highs. Altcoin season index back to 65 out of 100. This is very important to watch, because this is showing us that altcoins are gaining a ton of traction on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And talking about Ethereum, last 7 days up about almost 5% on the 7-day structure. On the monthly, we could see that rounding bottom happening on Ethereum in real time. Again, I have a price chart that I want to share with you guys on Ethereum and really kind of go over it. And then last but not least, XRP. Yes, XRP is up about almost 9% on the last 7-day view. On the monthly, again, we are getting back to that $3.08 zone. That's a very important level for us to break over. And I'll share with you guys why here in a moment. But this is very good price action. We are witnessing a very good push here across the board for crypto leading into FOMC week. I've shared with you guys on multiple occasions on why it's very important for us to pump into the FOMC week. The reason why is because if we are starting to gain a lot of momentum, we're starting to build strength, even if we do have, some sort of volatile push to the downside leading into the FOMC meeting, we will most likely create a higher low. So this is very good price action. Again, we're only about roughly 5 days away now from the FOMC day. And I do think that we get the first official rate cut of the year. That's going to cause markets to surge even higher. And it's also going to cause the altcoin market to really have a big break to the upside as well. I mean, altcoins right now are extremely strong. Beyond that, though, let's dive on into the charts. So with Bitcoin, again, we tapped that blue zone. We now broke above the red zone. We broke above that trend line as well. And now the first official level of interest that we need to clear, we are getting close to, which is 117K. This level must be broken on Bitcoin to reclaim some significant support and also start to have that push back to 120K plus. Biggest sign of this momentum really kind of building and brewing on Bitcoin was the break above the moving average on RSI on the daily. This is where we started to see the big push. This was on September 1st, and this is where we started to create that bottom. We also started to break to the upside. We created a lower or a higher low, and then we started to create higher highs going off of even these previous highs. So the structure on Bitcoin was bullish. A lot of people were saying, no, we're going back down below 100K. There's a death cross happening on Bitcoin. There's a blood moon, this, that. You know, again, during this time, I told you guys to just focus on structure this entire year, okay? And I just want to take you guys back real quick. Let's just make it very simple. Let's not even look into indicators like RSI or MACD or anything like that. Let's just look back at some of the most bearish times this year, okay? The bottom into April. How did we know that this was the bottom? Well, we didn't, right? We did not know that this was the bottom at all. We started to have a nice push back to the upside. The clear sign was breaking over these highs. And we got that towards the end of April. This was our higher low. These were our higher highs. And we continued to create higher lows during this entire time. So this was bullish structure on Bitcoin. And even going all the way back to September of last year, you know, a lot of people were bearish during this time as well. We had our bottom back here. This was a major wick to the downside. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Higher highs during this entire time. This is bullish structure. This is showing us that strength on Bitcoin is increasing. We're starting to see Bitcoin become extremely bullish during this time. And once we broke over those March highs, all of a sudden everyone was like, that's it, the bottom's in. We knew that the bottom was in back in September of 2024. Even over here, we knew that the bottom was in back in the end of August into the beginning of September, because once we started to see that momentum brewing and we started to see the RSI crossing, that was our bullish divergence, even though we were really just kind of stable down here. Now that we have our higher lows and we have our higher highs, it's clear that Bitcoin wants to run even higher here. And we saw this even back in the summer, right? May all the way into the end of June. Everyone was bearish here as well. Again, we have our significant bottom, higher low, higher low. Then we started to create higher highs because we still needed to clear those highs going back to like the beginning of June. We saw that happen in the beginning of July, and that took us to $124,000 on Bitcoin. So if we're thinking about this, all you have to do is watch structure. Right now, Bitcoin, very bullish. Even Ethereum, very bullish. We have our higher low, right? We built our floor on the daily. This is our higher low, and it's a rounding higher low. So we're now starting to break back above, you know, major highs on the daily. We're creating higher highs on the daily at the same exact time that our RSI is now breaking over the moving average. And this is most likely going to take us back to retesting that all-time high from 2021. We might reject it initially, which I have, you know, drawn on this chart. But after that, I do think that we break above it and we get our nice daily candle close and our weekly candle close above the all-time high. If we do get a weekly close this Sunday above the 2021 all-time highs leading into FOMC week, buckle up, because it's going to get very exciting very fast. So again, Ethereum, playing by the rules, still very bullish. XRP. So XRP on the daily looks very good here. RSI also breaking over the moving average, showing us that this was basically our bottom. We have higher lows in here. I know that it's a little bit of a shallow higher low, but these are all higher lows. And we need to clear these August highs. This is why $3.08 is so crucial, because if we can clear this $3.08 level on the daily, get a daily candle close over it as well, and break back up above these highs, create a higher high on the chart, we will most likely target those highs going all the way back to August, the beginning of August, around $3 and almost 40 cents. And if we could break that one, we will target the July highs, going back to $3 and almost 70 cents. And if we clear that, then yes, $4 plus will happen pretty quick. XRP looks very good here as well. Even if we're looking at this on the macro, you know, XRP has been showing us this entire year that it's still extremely bullish. Back in April, the bottom. There we have our bottom. We have our higher low in the end of June. This told us that, guess what, XRP is ready to run. That's when XRP created a macro higher high going off of the highs going back to January. Most people are not aware of just reading structure when it's so simple to look at. People will still continue to FUD our bags over on X and tell us that things are going lower, even though the structure is telling us the complete opposite. And the best part about all of this is that, yes, alt season is practically here. Raoul Pal put out a great chart over on X, and he said you can't help but stare at this chart. Total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is the altcoin market. This is the total 3 on the weekly. This thing looks primed for a major expansion to the upside. I've talked about this on multiple occasions that altcoins are not going to just sit here sitting on the sidelines while Bitcoin and Ethereum pump. That's why when we look at some of these posts from even Dan Gambaradello, right? Altcoins are so undervalued. They're so suppressed like never before. It's very likely that many people won't believe the pump that we will see. And yeah, most people are not paying attention to what matters here. Bitcoin dominance continues to sell off. Bitcoin dominance continues to be very bearish. It's repeating the same pattern that it repeated back here in July. And I am very excited to watch this chart just continue to fall off a cliff. It's at the same exact time that the Bitcoin dominance and the Ethereum dominance chart combined are still, dropping. This is on the 3-week, by the way. We lost the moving average. We broke down below the moving average. The last time that we did this was back in July of 2024. We broke down through the moving average, continued to chop a little bit all the way into November. We continued to break down, and guess what? We're now back to those levels that we saw back in November and December of last year where altcoins were going insane. The difference here is that this thing looks like it wants to go significantly lower. If we break this midline on RSI and we start to dip even lower, I do think that we are going to retest this trend line on the bottom and break down into this blue zone. And from there, I think that we have a reaction just like back in 2021 where there's no support. It just continues to drop and drop until it starts to chop. And when we are starting to do something like this is typically a good sign that, take some profits, try to, just pay yourselves to, be in this market. If you put in over a year or two in this market, you might as well just pay yourselves some profits. Keep a moon bag. You don't have to sell everything, but, that's typically a warning sign. But this chart looks as though alt season is about to happen in a big way. And others' dominance is also showing us that same exact, insight, where this is doing the opposite of what this chart is doing. If this continues to sell off, others' dominance can break back above 8.43%, which is clearing that support level going all the way back to 2023. And this will put us on a path to retesting this trend line, the same trend line that we failed to break over back in December of last year into January of this year. And if we can create a higher high going off of these highs, altcoins are going to be looking very, very good because we will retest the 2024 highs. And that's at about roughly almost 14% dominance. Guys, that is a almost 6% push to the upside on just the altcoin market outside of the top 10. We're not even including ADA, Solana, BNB, XRP. No, this is the altcoin market outside of the top 10. So if we start to see this, altcoins in general should be starting to see a crazy, volatile, violent push to the upside where we are starting to see 100% candles in a single day. That's right, a single day, just like back in 2021, just like back in 2017 as well. So I am very excited about what we are seeing right now. This price action is showing us and telling us exactly what we want to see. And the best part about this is even stocks continue to create new all-time highs. We just saw one of the most bullish candles on stocks in a very long time. And this is a push from roughly $65.46 all the way up to almost $6,600. This is extremely bullish. This is showing us that we are about to see some very violent moves in crypto because we are going to catch up to the S&P. Bitcoin is still, if we go back to Bitcoin real quick, let me open up the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin is still, from where we are currently trading, about roughly almost 8% away from a new all-time high. We have to catch up to the S&P. We will catch up to the S&P leading into FOMC week. Guys, I am extremely excited about what's about to hit this market. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.